The first round of first quarantine tournament is going on. One game is yet to end. The other games have ended. So I was just glancing through all the games, and a few games caught my interest. The main game was Sid Arvind versus Atan, where there was an upset. A 646 player won against a 983 player. Let's see what happened. Siddharth played e4. This is Siddharth Arvind. E4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c5, and a normal position. And here comes knight h5. Black actually has a way to win here. You can just play knight takes e4. Knight takes e4, you take back, and then queen takes this knight. So black basically gets a pawn for free. Atan missed the tactic. He played queen c8. White played queen f3. So Atan was hinting at bishop takes pawn sacrifice, but white defends it. Now knight d4, attacking the queen and the c2 pawn, which would be an attack to the rook. So he just moves the queen to g3 because he did not want, Siddharth did not want to allow bishop takes pawn sacrifice. So he kept the queen there, allowing knight takes pawn, but now comes bishop h6. And there's a direct checkmate threat, queen g7 mate, which can only be stopped by playing knight h5. The other option is to play g6, but then he will lose the rook. Lose an exchange. So knight h5 was played by by Atan, but then Siddharth finds queen g5. Basically, if black tries to defend the knight or move the knight, there's checkmate. So this knight is gone. Basically, black takes the rook and white takes the knight. White takes the pawn finally, which he intended, but I'm not sure if this is even good right now because white pieces are already defending, so white can even take back. But white here plays a very nice move. He plays queen g5. And believe it or not, mate is unstoppable. Black does not have any defense to defend that mate. Black has to play g6, no other move. But then comes queen f6, and you can only resign here. Absolutely no way to stop the mate on g7, even though all these pieces are there. But they're all on different squares, cannot come to the aid of the king. And Atan got checkmated. He played bishop takes, just delaying the mate, and then he had to resign. So this was the main game of the round. Now, in the other games, the top seed, Vaishnavi CM. Let's see how her game went. It was a normal Giko piano where she played h6 first, equal position. And now things start on the queen side. Black wants to exchange of the good bishop white has got. But here, can't white play b4? b4 is actually possible here. Knight's defending b4. So let's say b4, it will be an exchange only. It won't win. Black can either play knight takes knight or knight takes bishop. So Vaishnavi first attacks the knight. Then she moves the bishop, I guess. Oh, actually here there's a trap. The white c4 bishop is trapped because of the move b3. So you don't want to play a move like b3, which will basically not leave any squares for this bishop. You want to play a3. This bishop can come out to e3. You can bring it out here. You don't need to play b3 and bishop b2, which is anyway not a good diagonal. It's blocked. So b3 was a mistake, and Vaishnavi takes advantage of that. She plays b5, trapping the bishop. Shreyas tries to get out of it. He plays a3. Now he's threatening b4. Either way, Vaishnavi gets a pawn. Like pawn takes bishop, even if b4 comes, you can still play pawn takes or bishop takes, and she'll have a pawn extra. She plays bishop back. Now b4 comes. Now she has to take the bishop. And when he takes here, she'll take back and be a pawn up. White cannot take back because there'll be a threat from the rook. That's what happened. Pawn takes bishop, pawn takes knight, bishop took back, Vaishnavi is a pawn up, and white cannot take here. Rook is hanging. Rook is blocked, and now Vaishnavi plays a very nice move. She does not play pawn takes pawn, which is actually possible. She'll be a pawn up. Instead, she first improves her pieces, makes threats. Queen defends it, and then pawn takes. Now queen cannot take back because the bishop would be hanging. So these small moves show how good a player you are. These small improving moves like moves that normal players won't play. That's what a good player does. Instead of a routine recapture, you're first making a threat, and then the position is different. Rook b1 trying to take the pawn now, but then black plays bishop a6, and the pawn is again out of reach. White attacks it again, but white is not really threatening to take it because if rook takes, bishop will take the rook. So black just plays d5, just continuing with her plans. Pawn takes e4. Another nice move, attacking the knight and then recapturing the pawn. So this pawn, which is passed, is actually cemented in the middle of the board, like a thorn in white position. All other pieces are also doing their job. Bishop's looking good, rooks are good, queen's good. So all white black pieces are doing good. Meanwhile, this white bishop, which was supposed to stay on this diagonal, has come here and it's blocked. And the pawn is also pinned. Both ways, actually. F3 was played, trying to get out of the position, but then black will just ignore it, I suppose. Black plays bishop e6 and wins the rook. The rook is pinned. That's a problem with f3. Pawn forward, bishop takes rook, queen takes back, and then the bishop is also hanging. And she just picks it up, takes, bishop takes. She could have actually played pawn takes, couldn't she? Or rook takes. Yeah, rook takes would have been better, no? Because there's a threat to the knight, and then you take here. Or bishop takes. Anyway, she plays bishop takes. I'm not really sure why. Maybe because the knight could have taken the pawn. So if, but pawn takes was better. All right, bishop takes, knight takes, then queen check. Okay, she picks up the knight with another rook. If knight moves back, that was possible. Knight could have moved back, but then rook takes pawn will anyway pick up the knight. Knight moves back. King moved, queen took, and just exchanging of the pieces. And the rook is cutting off the king. So bishop will pick up this pawn, and then the a pawn will promote. Easy win. This rook will stay on this line itself, cutting off the white king. So Vaishnavi won that way. The second seed of the tournament, Siddharth Suryan, had a slight scare because he got into a slightly worse position after the opening from Bala, who was 886. So we have the flight lever opening. Black had to play d5. That's the only move to stop this. But he plays queen e7, which basically allows knight takes pawn. And then just knight d6 is it's an unclear position because you get the rook, but then you give up your knight and bishop, and you've gotten 2 pawns also. So technically it's 1 point up, but practically it could be either way. So Siddharth gives up his bishop and knight for the rook, and then he gives his check. Queen went back. So this is not really nice. He just wasted a move with the queen. Black comes back. White continues development. Bishop comes out. Now black is going to castle queen side because there's no rook on the king side to castle with. So white also prepares to castle that way. Both sides castle. Queen comes here. There's a threat on a2. How big the threat is, we do not know. I mean, if bishop takes pawn, there is at least b3, trapping the bishop. But then bishop takes pawn, and then pawn takes, queen takes will open up the king. 3 pawns for the bishop is good. So there is a threat and he defends it. But now comes knight d4, bishop e3, knight g4. Here Siddharth makes a mistake. This knight is defending the a2 pawn. So when the knight is gone, a2 pawn is also gone. So bishop takes knight allows pawn takes back and the knight is attacked. So knight has to move. Now bishop takes pawn with check. White is in trouble. Now white makes a threat, which is actually a double threat. It's hitting a7 and a2, the bishop and the pawn. Black misses both threats, basically. So that was silly from Bala. He plays bishop f6. There was a threat on the rook also. So it's 3 threats. So maybe allowing bishop a2 might have been good actually. Because bishop a2, king moves. Now black has to defend a7, but when he defends, the queen will come out. Actually, here there was b6. Defending the rook, blocking the rook's threat to the rook and defending the a7 pawn. But the bishop will be gone. So, so in this position, this might have been okay. I don't know if Sudha calculated this far, but this position is actually good for white. because black is also in trouble. All right. So there we have a check, and then he picks up the bishop. King takes, and then rooks are forked, but then this knight is never going to come back, which means white is basically knight up. Black played that. I came back and tried to pick up the knight. Here, he could have actually, pawn takes pawn. Now Siddharth could have just played pawn takes back. There was no need to take the knight in a hurry. This wasn't going anywhere. So taking the knight was not needed right now because he can play e3 or pawn takes. Now it's a routine conversion. It's a knight up position, so definitely it should be an easy win. Let's see how he finished things. Just an exchange of rooks, making it easier, and then picking up pawns one by one and passing the pass pawn. Pushing the pass pawn. Forcing the king to move out and queens. And after king a5, queen b5 checkmate. So that was the second seed. Purvida also had a tough game against Vihan. Vihan was actually winning for a long time. It was very close to an upset. E4, let's see what happened in the game. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, knight G5. Again, Purvida can play the fried lever. Vihan should have played bishop C5. Knight F6 allows knight G5. And here black has to play D5. He does play D5. Pawn takes. Now black has to play knight A5, basically. Because if you take back, then there's a sacrifice on F7. That's a fried lever attack. But black plays knight B4, which is a different move. It allows knight takes pawn, but I'm not sure it's that good. King takes pawn forward, king back. Here she should have played pawn takes pawn. Because at least she would be having how many pawns? One pawn up for the piece. Pawn takes, queen takes, and then move the bishop and give a check. Because right now, sorry, she'll be 2 pawns. She'll have 2 pawns. If she played pawn takes pawn right now, then she will have 2 pawns up for the piece, which is okay because king cannot castle now. That's one advantage for white. So she didn't take the pawn. Instead, she played castles. Then black is just a piece up. White has only 1 pawn for the piece, which is not enough. C3 attacking the knight, H3 normal moves, and then we play D4, opening up the position. Knight H5 is slightly a little loose because now rook E1 can come. King is in the middle, but white plays knight D2. Queen G5. That's moving right into the mouth of the bishop, allowing knight. Okay, but black is threatening not much actually. Knight F4 could be a threat. But knight F3 attacks the queen. Queen moves, and now rook E1 comes. Purvida could have played rook E1 long back. There was no need to wait for knight D2 and knight F3 to play rook E1. Anyway, king F8, and now white has to be better. Even though she's a piece down, black's position is slightly iffy. Bishop G5 attacking the queen. Queen moves. Queen E2, threatening queen A8 check. So black has to play bishop D7 here. But he plays something else. He goes for a tactic, but tactics won't work when your position is bad. If your pieces are on good squares, then all sorts of tactics will be there. Here, black pieces are not properly coordinated. Knight's out of the game. Bishop and rook haven't developed. This rook is out of play. Then when you go for a tactic like this, it won't work. You can see his idea. His idea is if knight takes, then he takes the bishop. This is what happened. Knight takes and then queen bishop. But one has to feel that black king will somehow be checkmated. King moves, and now she played knight f3, which looks good. Queen f6, asking for an exchange of queens. Of course, we cannot allow that. Now queen cannot. Queen can move actually. Knight f4 was played. Vihan is also fighting back, and then queen d2, pinning the knight. G3 is a threat. Yeah, here g3 could have been played. Because if bishop moves, then just move the queen out of the way. G3 knight cannot move. There's no knight h3, so it was actually a piece. She plays h4. That is a little ununderstandable. Because at the very least, you can move the queen out of this threat. H4 does not make much happen. So now Vihan plays a nice move. Moves the bishop to here, this square, which is the best square because now you're getting b2 and attacking the rook. Rook is attacking the queen, so the queen has to move, and then the queen moved to a bad square. Defending b2, thought Purvida, But then it's actually bad because now bishop is getting the rook. Queen moves and then you're getting the rook full rook up for Vihan. So Vihan has to be completely winning. There's too much material given up by Purvida. But then, if you see what happened, queen came here, rook came here, queen came here. Still, black hasn't developed his bishop. That is sad. Bishop has to come to g4 or f5, anywhere. When you are when you have so many pieces up, like Vihan rook up and a bishop up. When you have so many pieces up, you just have to keep your pieces on good squares. Game will automatically win itself. But then he doesn't take his pieces till the end. He just plays with whatever pieces on the board. And now he loses the knight, free knight. Bishop takes, and now, oh, it's not a free knight, sorry. It's not a free knight. There's actually possibility rook takes bishop, queen takes, and then queen takes bishop. But since she's so much down material, she cannot even do that. Knight g5, attacking the bishop. Bishop does not move. He plays rook c8, nice move. Queen g3. Now the bishop has to move, right? Yeah. Bishop d4, but then rook takes bishop. The bishop was attacked by the rook and knight, but he misses it. He misses it, and he misses it, and rook takes knight. Bishop is played. Now Vihan is only up by a rook, and that rook is not playing in the game. So in this position, Vihan blundered. He just has to move the queen somewhere. Like g7 would be fine, f5 would be fine, anywhere good. So he moved it to d8, and then comes the rook, and the queen is gone. And here he had to resign. So that was the third game that caught my attention. Sorry, fourth. And the last game that we'll analyze is Dhruv versus Vihan. Here Vihan plays the Petrov defense. And those who play the Petrov defense, knight f3, knight c6, knight f6, have to know that after white takes the pawn, black should not take immediately. Black has to first play d6, attacking the knight, making it move, and then you can take. Because if you take immediately, white plays queen e2. And here Vihan blundered. He moved the knight. That allows a typical discovery. Move the knight to c6 and the queen is gone. No defense. It's a typical move in Petrov. And black just lost the queen. And after a few moves, he lost the game. It was not difficult for Dhruv to win the queen up. So these were the games that caught my attention in first round. And hope that we see many more such games in the next few rounds.